so I actually got robbed one time. And it was not our fault because we weren't doing the robbing, but it was kind of our fault. So one day we had been teaching a lesson and it was going great. And so the rule is in the mission is you have to be home at 9 o'clock, but if you're teaching a lesson, you can be home at 9:30, right? So we were teaching and we kind of lost track of time. So we ended up leaving their house around 9:30 and I was freaking out because I was like, we're late, we need to get back to the apartment. And we were like probably 10 blocks away. So we were just walking super fast and trying to get home. And so we were doing the best we could to be obedient, which is great, but we should have been home at 9:30. And so we were just walking home as fast as we could. And as we were walking home, one of our neighbors, we had contacted a couple days before, and they said they wanted to listen to our message again. And so we had gone back probably 10 times, and we could never find this person. Probably wasn't actually interested, but we tried. And so when we were walking back, we saw that his light was on, and we were like, oh my gosh, he's home. Oh my gosh, do we knock? And so we seriously sat in the street for probably like 3 minutes trying to decide if it was more important to go home and be on time or if we should knock on his door. And we both felt the spirit and felt like we needed to knock on the door. But then in my obedient mind, I was like, no, it's more important that we're obedient. We'll be blessed for our obedience. Let's just ignore the spirit a little bit and get home. And we're like, okay, we'll go home and we'll knock on his door first thing tomorrow morning. And while we were discussing this person walked past us in the street, and my companion got a really weird feeling about it, but she kind of ignored it because we were discussing what to do with this investigator. And so when we decided to just keep going home, we only lived like 2 houses down. We kept walking, and then the person that was walking past us turned around and walked toward us, and we both just had like a sinking feeling in our stomach. We're like, oh no, something's gonna happen. And so he walked to my companion first, and it was really dark out, and so he kind of pulled something out of his pocket and held it in my companion's face and was like, give me your cell phone. And my companion, she's a very tough girl and doesn't get scared easily. And so she actually pushed his hand away. We thought it was a knife, but it turns out it was just like a keychain flashlight or something, but he wanted us to think it was a knife. And so she wasn't scared at all, but I had no idea what was going on. And I was slowly backing away, trying to get away from the situation because I had the cell phone and he wanted it, and it was freaking me out. And so I wasn't going to ditch my companion because that's completely against the rules, but I was trying to distance myself a little bit from him. And so he kept asking her for the cell phone, and she's like, I don't have a cell phone. And then eventually, she was so sarcastic. She's like, I don't have the cell phone, but I have a Tic Tac. Would you like a Tic Tac? And I was sitting there you did not just offer a robber a Tic Tac. Are you kidding me right now? And I was just freaking out. My heart was pounding, and I could feel the cell phone in my pocket, and I was freaking out. And so I was still just backing away slowly. And I honestly could have taken off and run, but I wasn't gonna just leave my companion, even though she kind of expected me to. But I wasn't gonna do that to her, so I just kept walking away. And then he looked at me, and my heart dropped. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he knows I have the cell phone. So he ran over to me and was like, give me the cell phone. And I was about to say no and just kind of lie a little bit and be like, no, I don't have one either. But then, so we read the mission manual every morning, right? And so the line from the mission manual that says, do not resist robbers or people that come up to you, that entire line from the mission manual just flashed in my mind, and I was like, all right, fine. So I pulled the cell phone out of my pocket, I lit it up so he could see that it was a cell phone. He took it and he ran. And I was like, oh, so he didn't even want to rob anything else. It was just the cell phone. Because at that time, I had my camera on me. I had money on me. I had so many valuables on me at the time, which I don't know why I had that much on me because I never did. And so I was so surprised that he just wanted the cell phone, and he ran off. And then as he was running away, my companion was like, is there anything else we can help you with? And I was like, shut up, hermano, we don't want him to come back. I was freaking out. And so I was shaking the entire time. And so we are so close to home, but we didn't have a cell phone, and our district leader was gonna call us any minute, and we're like, well, we don't have a phone on us. And so we're like, well, we don't want him freaking out that we're not answering the phone. So we decided to walk to the elder's apartment, and it was probably 15 or 20 blocks away. And so we're walking to their apartment, and it's so late by this point. It's almost 10 o'clock, and we're like, this has been an awful night. But as we were walking, we were just talking about it, and we ended up just laughing about it because we never felt like we were in danger because, we had the spirit with us and everything. We didn't feel like we were in danger. And we just laughed because we're like, he's the worst robber ever. A, he didn't even have a knife, nothing dangerous that he could have hurt us with. And B, he just took the cell phone and ran for it. Like, he didn't even ask us for anything else. We're like, it must have been his first time robbing someone because it was awful. And we just ended up laughing about it. And so we're just sitting there eating Tic Tacs, waiting for the elders to get home because they were also late because they were teaching a lesson. So eventually they get home and they're like, hermanos, what are you doing here? So we had to explain the entire situation, and we called the zone leaders, and the zone leaders told the elders to give us their cell phone because it's more important for the sisters to have a phone than the elders. And so they were all mad at us because they had a nice cell phone and then we got it, and they were all jealous and stuff. But so it was really interesting because I was nervous during it, but then afterwards I was like, I knew I wasn't in danger. Nothing was going to happen to us. And so it was so amazing to feel the Spirit even in a crazy situation like that. And it turned out to just be a hilarious story for us to tell because he was just such a funny robber.